Hi everybody, so assuming that you've got a page of design concepts, a full page of concepts, however that might be, for your incense stick holders, you've constructed them faintly, and I just want to remind you that my lines are a little bit darker than what yours should be, and that's purely for the purpose of this video tutorial. So what I want you to do now is we want to look at how we can apply some colour tone, and in this case a brown ochre I'm using, tone to the actual shape, the design itself, and we add the colour tone just for communication purposes. And if we were designing for a client or a user or something like that, a page of design concepts, by adding a little bit of colour tone, it gives the product a bit more realism. It looks more like the real one would do. And when it comes to using coloured pencils, I know that many of you use them before. You really do get what you pay for. And if you buy texture ones, $3.50, $4, something like that, the actual lead in the end is very hard. The lead that runs through is very hard, and they're very hard to get different tones, you know, going from light to dark. If you go for Caran d'Ache or Faber-Castell or Staedtler, which only cost about $6–7, they're far easier to use. So the first thing is make sure you've got a nice sharp tip on the end, and go around with a nice thin but dark edge the actual design itself. Now I'm not using a sketching motion now, I'm actually pressing firmly onto my line. Again, the reason why we've got this not very attractive grey line is because that's from my construction work using my HB pencil. All the more reason to do that very faintly so that you don't get that horrid grey line. So I've gone round the actual outside, the perimeter. This little elliptical hole is where my incense stick is going to sit. So what I'm going to do now is just, I hold the pencil in this way because it's comfortable for me. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the white out of the page. So I'm just going to lightly, within the confines of my design concept, that outer line, I'm just going to remove that white out of the page, out of the paper. So here we go. You can clearly see, or I hope you can see, that my white concept is now this brown ochre colour, and none of it is looking white. Yes, we've got some of it looks darker than other areas, and that's what we refer to as the tone. So that's removed the white. I've decided that this end here, this more pointed end of my design, is going to be slightly darker, so I'm applying a little bit more pressure with my coloured pencil. Still applying the same amount of pressure. Now I'm starting to just lighten up with my pressure and just go up to the top of my design concept. Now I'm going to come back down to this end, apply a bit more pressure, which in turn is making this a slightly darker tone of the brown ochre at the end. And you'll note that it's not stripes. I'm not creating stripes in my design. My tone is going from dark to a lighter tone, not white, just a lighter tone up towards this top end. And now I'm going to repeat that one more time, slightly darker at this bottom end. Okay, gradually getting lighter as I work my way along. And now I can see a lot more clearly my actual design concept building up. So I'm happy with that tonal work, but not quite as happy as I should be with these lines. So just taking my point, I'm just going to emphasize them a little bit more. Try and keep them as thin as you can applying a little bit more pressure just to give that a nice firm edge and separate my design from the actual crate. The crate, of course, is what we use to build the design in, and then that's where, just there is where the actual incense stick itself fits in. So I'm going to rotate my page now to my second design concept that I've created out, and I'm going to take a different colour of brown. You can use the same one, and I'm going to use a raw umber. Again, I'm going to go round the actual design concept with just a thin dark line, not a sketch line, a firm solid line. Some people would prefer to use a 0.1 or a 0.2 black fine line pen. That's another method you can use and not have this very thin dark line, emphasis the word thin, of the actual colour that you're going to use. I prefer this method. There we have it, and then that's going to be where my incense stick's going to go. What I'm going to do now is same as before, and that is just gently remove the white out of the page. Now I've got to be careful now, so I'm using a far darker tone of brown than I used before. And when you do this, you need to see what browns you've got available. You can lightly go over one of your browns with a slightly darker pencil, maybe a dark using a black or something like that, but we don't want this, we want it to look a little bit like a timber type colour or a timber tone, so we don't want to just colour it in black. So what I'm doing is I'm making this top end my darker tone. So there it is, I've made it noticeably darker, and then I'm just bringing it through, following the contour or the curve of that edge all the way down to the bottom. So where I'm working now is sort of where the ash is going to fall off. It's getting a little bit darker now, so a bit too dark down that end. And of course, a quality coloured pencil, you're able to erase these as well. So I'm just going to darken this edge up a little, this edge and this end a little bit more. Gradually getting lighter, following the contour, following the curve of the actual design. We don't want any white in it. The white remains in the page. We don't want any stripes. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And then to finalise, or just to finish off, I'm just darkening up, crisping up those edges. That's fine there and there. And that's our second design concept with tone. Have a go yourselves, see how you get on. Thanks for watching.